Behind every legend there is usually a real story, and even if it may seem incredible, vampires or werewolves are no exception. Was Godzilla inspired by an overweight stagehand? Was there really a count who fed on human blood? Chucky isn't just a movie character, but a real killer doll? Many people are inspired by real characters when they made their most monstrous creations, and in this top 10, we will show you 10 of the greatest fantastic monsters and their real-world inspirations. Number 10. Godzilla, a Toho studio stagehand. This is perhaps the least mysterious story of all. The legend of Godzilla was born in Japan as a way to repeat the success of King Kong around the world. Behind its origin, there is a story that says that the creators of this great monster were inspired by an overweight employee who was nicknamed Gojira, a combination between gorilla and Kujira that means whale, due to its weight and size. Number 9. Sauron, Gilles de Rais, known as Gilles de Montmorency-Laval. The Baron de Rais was an important person in the history of France, not only for having killed perhaps hundreds of children, but also for being the inspiration for the creation of characters such as Sauron in The Lord of the Rings and Bluebeard, a popular story attributed to Charles Perrault. Number 8. The Headless Horseman, William Heath. Maybe you will remember the famous Tim Burton movie, but even if in the origin of this legend there is no rider who rises from his grave, there is really a soldier buried without a head. On October 31, 1776, according to the American general William Heath's diary, a soldier of Hesse who fought for the British was beheaded by a cannon, which also killed his horse. His body was buried in the real town of Sleepy Hollow in Westchester County, New York. Number 7. Dragons, Megalanias. Majestic, frightening, and known to be one of the most popular mythical creatures, these huge lizards appear in countless stories around the world. However, there were also real animals that could be called dragons, such as Megalanias, with more than 30 feet and weighing approximately 450 pounds. These lizards could also spit venom. Sound familiar, doesn't it? Number 6. Chucky, Robert the Doll. A possessed doll may sound too unreal, but the reality is that Chucky, the famous character, was inspired by the real story of Robert Eugene Otto and his doll. Capable of changing expression, attacking others, and even communicating, the doll actually can be visited by those brave tourists who dare to see it personally. Number 5. King Kong, Gigantophitecus. Can you imagine that really there was an existing ape so big that it was an inspiration to create King Kong? The Gigantophitecus lived in Asia and is, according to the experts, the largest ape in history. Became extinct 100,000 years ago due to its insufficient capacity for adaptation, which led to the extinction of the species. Number 4. Mr. Hyde, William Brodie. The duality that exists within a single human being is more common than it seems, and the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was interpreted as an ingenious and very creative way. Doctor by Day and Monster by Night, this story by author Robert Louis Stevenson was inspired by William Brodie's double life. By day he was a respectable counsellor, but at night he robbed the richest members of Edinburgh society for many years. Number 3. Werewolves, Berserkers. In pre-Christian Europe, there existed real werewolves. Known as Berserkers or Udufnar, the Nordic warriors used skins of wolves, and using hallucinogens they invoked the spirit of the animal to transform into killing machines on the battlefield. This was the origin of what we know today as werewolves, beings that have invaded world culture through literature, film, and television. Number 2. Frankenstein's monster, Giovanni Aldini. Many have unearthed dead to examine them, but few have tried to resuscitate, and Giovanni Aldini did just that. In 1803, he was determined to restore the life of a corpse, and using a large amount of electricity, he managed to obtain momentary life reactions. This fact reached the ears of Mary Shelley, who would later become the creator of the world-famous Frankenstein's monster. Number 1. Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. Known mainly for his cruelty, Vlad the Impaler was one of the main inspirations to create one of the most popular monsters in the world, Count Dracula. impaling his enemies alive and drinking their blood in glasses, the writer Bram Stoker found in his legend the model and the perfect location to create what would be one of the world's best-selling monsters.
Thank you for watching. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We publish content every week for your entertainment. Leave a comment to let us know what you would like to see in our next Top 10.